Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. I'm your host, Bob, the Knife Junkie DeMarco. Tonight, we're going to talk about a new knife from Real Steel, a crowdsourcing product from Origin Goods, a new Viper knife from Tommaso Rumici. I'm sorry, I'm an Italian. I should say that right. That's from Viper Knives. And the big part of the evening is my co-host, Jared Neves from Neves Knives. Everyone knows Neves Knives. And I have Jared with me. Jared, thanks for joining me, sir. Not hearing you right at the moment, but I think maybe your mic is being unmuted as we speak. You joined us last week on Saturday. Well, it was last Saturday. Geez, it seems like ages ago. Where? Hey, man.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Beautiful.
Right.
Matthew, good to see you, sir. As we just spoke online, left-handed knife guy. Hey, left-handed knife guy. Welcome to have you, sir. I think maybe we were both muted. So I'll start all over. I'm Bob. You know that. Tonight we're going to be talking about a couple of new knife drops if I'm disciplined and I stick to the program. But the big thing is I have Jared Neves from Neves Knives. Jared,
what's up, everybody?
Welcome yet again. No, I wasn't muted, Jim says. Okay. Some people, there was some communication breakdown along the way, but I'm not even suggesting it was Jim's fault because we all know and love his work. Please join in on the conversation tonight. First, before I even ask Jared, I will ask you out there, what are you carrying today? And is your pandemic carry different? Just let us know in the comments. Hey, Damon, good to see you, sir. So, Jared, what were you carrying today, sir?
I was carrying a 940-1.
Ooh, the -1 meaning?
With carbon fiber.
Beautiful.
S90V. S90V.
Okay. So how do you find that S90V?
Pretty good. I've sharpened it, and it seemed like it was really good. It had been sharpened before it got to me, so I'm pretty sure like there wasn't no burnt edge or anything on it, and it seems like it's holding up really good. I've been using it. I've been using it for like a week now, and it's holding up really good. I'm actually enjoying it.
Well, so question like, do you notice the difference? Well, actually, let me ask you this first. That's kind of a trite question there, but I was going to ask you, with the more expensive knives, I was going to ask you if you noticed the difference with the high-end steels. But let me ask you this first. With the high-end knives, and I would consider a 940-1 high-end, meaning, you're going to spend a lot of money if you're going to buy that new. Do you buy a lot of those knives on the secondary market? Do you trade? How do you get those kind of awesome knives in hand?
I do trade. We've been lucky enough that this community is so awesome. They've gifted us so many knives and have been so great to us. I can't even tell you, Bob, the knives that people have given us and how great it is, because we mostly buy, not always budget, but $250 and under. And most of our knives, a big majority of our knives are under $100. So we've gotten to experience some of the knives we have because of the community.
Okay, so if you've been living in a dark place, you keep saying we. Well, Neves Knives is not just you; it's also your wife, Kara.
Yes.
So the two of you have collecting. You have. I would imagine you're two different people, so you have two different tastes. So
for sure.
How do you share the? I don't want to presume that it's the family budget, but how do you share? How do you decide what goes into the bigger money decisions in terms of knives?
Well, no matter what, we're going to share the knives, no matter what. So,
Alex.
it's obviously easier for me to carry a smaller knife than it is for her to carry a big knife. But she knows that, I like bigger knives, and she was actually into big knives from the start. And then she slowly kind of got into smaller knives. But, we just work it out. Sometimes I get one for me. Sometimes she gets one for her. It's, it's all about the chase. So, and, we both are chasing. So, we just figure it out. However we got to.
So a Therapeutic Edge is carrying the Spyderco Amalgam today. Spyderco Amalgam. Nice. I was carrying a number of things today. I did a little wardrobe change halfway through the day. But I don't have the other one. crazy. Like I wasn't thinking about it all day, and then I left it. But for most of the day, I had this ridiculous chunk of metal on me, which I've just fallen madly in love with, and it's gotten quite almost one-handable. This Praetorian G. I never thought I would buy one of these, but I found myself really wanting one, and then found a way to get one in a way that was comfortable to me, and I love that thing.
I bet you do. We have a 1.7 that's going to be coming here pretty soon, and I am so excited because it'll be the first Medford, a full-size Medford, because we have a small one. We have this Eris here. And it's a smaller knife.
That's cool.
This is the only Medford I've gotten to experience yet. And it just shows me how much I need to get my hands on a full-size one.
Yeah. I had a similar experience when I bought this off of Alex. This was I have 2 Medfords, and of course I'd like to get more, but I'm not hot. I'm not like selling everything we've got to get them. But this was the first one I got, and it was the same thing. This is a little bit bigger than the one you put out. This is a 3.5-inch blade. And by the way, that blade to handle ratio is absurd. And I think it's because the pivot is so close to the end there. And then when you close it, you see a bit of the tang. And some people have a bone to pick with that. Doesn't bother me. But
let me ask you, how's the access to the lock bar on that? Because I feel like when I look at it, like that, it looks like it needs a cutout.
One word, it's unfortunate.
Okay.
Because they have the model right here. They have this beautiful terraced bit of titanium here. If they terraced it one more step down and then just cut a little bit away, you can see where my finger is. They just kind of squared that off a little bit and gave you a little bit. But I mean, okay. We all know and love Greg Medford, and part of Greg Medford is a bit of a smartass, and this is kind of a bit of a smartass move, right?
Yes, it is.
It's like, well, if you want to close it, you'll wedge your thumb in there. It's like if you want to open it, you'll figure out a way, but it's not with those thumb studs.
Right. That's actually one of my biggest peeves is the lock bar access. Yeah, I like having, and I'm not saying anything about that knife or any other knife like this. That knife, I'd obviously love to have my hands on it, but access to a lock bar I feel like is crucial to me. Like it can make or break a knife.
Oh, I agree, and he more than makes up for it in the Praetorian, which has more than ample, like almost too much. If I'm going to be nitpicky, but I'm not going to. Jim, can you put that last mini grip XL Voyager Tanto and a case? This is like the perfect rounded out carry. You've got the mini grip for pretty much everything. You've got the XL Voyager for the unfortunate. Yeah. Oh, see, for me, I'm thinking like, 7 to 10 angry people who, none of them have firearms, and a couple of them have their hands tied behind their back, and then a case. Okay, case back pocket knife. I'm assuming that's a case lock back pocket knife, but in any case, or maybe it's a back pocket. Oh, back pocket.
Yeah,
knife.
Back pocket. Yeah.
I have one of those. It's the Carhartt model, so it's not as classy as some of the back pockets, but I love that knife.
Yeah.
Jared,
what are you chasing these days, Bob?
What's that?
What are you chasing these days?
I'll tell you in just a minute, but I want to circle back to you about slip joints. So let's not forget. I want to ask you about traditional knives. What am I chasing these days? So a big thing that I've been going after, or flirting with, lurking around to sound creepy, is the Spartan Harsey folder. Ooh. Now, everything Bill Harsey designs to me is beautiful, and that folder to me is beautiful, and it also looks like it has a lot of the characteristics of the Hinderer knives, which I love.
I agree. Spartan knives in general; those are some hard use looking knives. They look like some tough knives that want to be used.
Yes.
I like that.
So I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, nothing.
I just was distracted by that last one that was up. Dirk Werning was carrying 2 Medfords, I believe, and Bad Monkey EDC 1. I would have to say saving up for a Medford if you're it is a knife worth saving up for sure. I've been looking at that 187 recently. DLT Trading has an exclusive on the 187 model, and I'm not going to call it an inexpensive knife, but in the universe of Medford knives, it's one of the less expensive, but it's still big and giant. And I guess 187 is refers to the blade width, SOG Terminus XR and D2. Interesting. I am looking at that SOG Seal XR. Just looks so amazing. Do you know what that knife is, Jared?
Yeah, I have one right here.
Oh, can you hold it up? Let's see
I will. I have the
okay.
I think this is the older one, the one that they're not I don't think they're making this one anymore, because this is the one in CTS BDZ1.
Okay.
And now they're coming in what are they coming in? I think S30V. Maybe one of the guys in the comments can, because they're coming in G10, I know that, and then another blade material. Maybe it's S35.
It's funny, from here I can't tell if that's Carbon Spirited Whiskey. Nice to see you, sir.
It is. It's the carbon fiber overlay.
Okay. Carbon fiber.
And this knife, I gotta tell you about this knife is amazing. I was super surprised by SOG by this, because before that I was sleeping on SOG. Like, to me, SOG was something that I wouldn't be very impressed with.
Well, SOG was sleeping on SOG.
Yes, for sure.
But they got a breath of fresh air. They have some new blood in there. This gentleman, Jonathan Wegner, he's a guy who kind of took over and in the last year, I guess, and sort of is re-steering the ship. Bob hit me on. Geez, don't say that, sir. Dirk is giving me a hookup. He's giving me a Medford guy, and now I'm gonna have a guy for that. Oh, you want a Medford? Yeah.
Yeah,
carrying a Hogue EX03. I love the EX03 in Tanto. I love that Tanto, and it's got, if I'm not mistaken, it's got a bit of a harpoon swedge. I'm a sucker for that. I was very, very resistant to the harpoon swedge for a long time, but it keeps just popping up, and I keep thinking it looks good. So carrying the new Peter Resente Paisan. Whoa, manage. Is that so that is so, but is that yeah, exactly. Is that a mid-tech, or is that a custom? His knives, Peter Resente's knives, to me are absolutely gorgeous. I've reached out to him. Someday I'd like to interview him and talk with him and find out more, but I think his designs are astounding in every sense. And have you ever had a Resente or a
not yet? I definitely want to get my hands on one. They are custom though, right? Are they mid-tech or custom?
Well, I know he does an awful lot of custom. I mean, I know that is possibly his bread and butter, but I think recently he's been doing some sort of mid-techy or some sort of low batch number production kind of thing. But I might be conflating him with someone else. I'm not sure. A lot
of guys are working with Riat and We, so yeah, they can get confusing sometimes. You kind of mix them up, don't you?
Yeah, it's true. Hey, do you know about knife rights, right? You know about knife rights?
Oh yeah,
right? Yeah. Okay.
As much as I can.
So every year they do this Ultimate Steel contest, and it's a fundraiser. And it's crazy. It brings out people from the knife world like you would not believe. People donate knives for people to win when they pledge certain amounts. They have different tiers for different kind of prizes you can win. There it is, right up there. Jim has it up, and so give them $1,000, you have a chance to win an outstandingly amazing custom knife. And it's incredible how many knife makers and companies and such donate knives to this. And actually, I think Epic Snuggle Bunny is donating a knife this year, and he's yeah. So I mean, it's really cool. It's a great opportunity to support knife rights and also have a really good chance of winning a sweet knife. Last year I slept on it, and gave at the last minute, which was kind of stupid. That's just kind of how I do stuff.
Yeah.
And, and I missed my opportunity to win anything, but a lot of people won knives last year. So definitely check it out. Knife Rights.
You know, speaking of Knife Rights, here is the Hogue Ritter. You know, Doug Ritter. He's got a lot to do with Knife Rights, man.
Yeah.
We got to thank him for probably the majority of our Knife Rights.
He is Mr. Knife Rights for sure. I mean, without him and his lawyer, I've forgotten his name. You know, we would
name?
Yeah, because it's the two of them who are really doing the lion's share of the work. And but yeah, I mean, they have people all over the place, but the two of them are the driving force. And yeah, man, we would be 48 states behind without them. And yeah, it's pretty amazing what they do.
Definitely lucky.
So yeah, I just wanted to throw that up there. Matthew Lee also been carrying the Sword. Oh my God. Okay. Matthew Lee mentions a Sword. The Hog Beater, I would assume, is that big, giant, gnarly, triangular shaped dagger for killing hogs that they have. Later on, we're Jared, you and I are going to talk about our knife collections and such.
Okay.
And also knives rediscovered. And what I was going to show was going to wait till then. But since he mentioned Svord, I was going to show a Svord from, what are these? From Sweden. Or no, I'm sorry, from New Zealand. What am I talking about? And this is the T'aime Ski Bowie. And T'aime Ski was this with the heat treat left on there. It looks so cool. It's this big, giant, heavy-duty knife that my brother gave me one year. Yeah. So I haven't been carrying this around much, but it's man, that is one hell of a knife. But this guy T'aime Ski was when Westerners, I guess when Europe was settling New Zealand. Now, please don't hold me to this. I don't know my New Zealand history, but that was the knife that this ranger named T'aime Ski and all of his cohort carried to,
Looks like it could do some damage. Is that an acid etch on there? Is that what I'm saying?
This is the heat treat scale left on. It's not scale. It's when you heat treat stainless. It looks like that. And it's odd for something this big and chunky to be stainless, but I'm pretty sure it is because of the look of this heat treat scale. Now, someone out there can please definitely correct me, but when I've seen heat treated high carbon steel, there's scale on there that definitely has to be removed. You don't. So I don't know.
I could see it now.
Yeah, I could be mistaken. I don't know, but it's a pretty gnarly knife. Rosenti and CFK have done a number of collaboration knives based on Rosenti's customs and low production numbers. I have two of his full customs, Small Nirvana and Paisan 2.0. Now, the Nirvana is just positively gorgeous. Nicely done, by the way, Spirited Whiskey, to have two customs. That's awesome. I mean, he's definitely...
Spirited Whiskey's got a really nice collection.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
Beautiful.
So I'm humbled that he shows up at this event. I'm just kidding. I always have other people like yourself and Alex, who's up right now, classing up the joint. I'm carrying a factory custom ZT0450 Damascus. I was carrying my 452 CF the other day. The only knife I have left in CF. What do you think of ZT?
I got the 450. I got the 450, and I modified it a couple different times. But I had some problems with the blade steel, though, Bob. I don't know. It's just I'm guessing it got heat treated wrong or something, and I don't think it's something that happens with any of them. Like I think it's just an out of the ordinary thing. But for some reason, I can't get it to hold an edge. It doesn't sharpen correctly. So I just used it as a test model. I put basically a battlefield pickup finish on there. I etched it. Cool. I heat anodized it. I stonewashed it. I did a bunch of different things to it.
It's your test bed knife.
Yeah, I mean, I think it looks really cool still, and I still do use it from time to time. It's just it's so hard to sharpen it, though. That's the biggest thing. Some of the parts of the steel want to sharpen just fine, and others just are like putty. It's kind of weird. But since I modified it, I can't get the warranty.
Yeah, right.
It is
So
what it
is that LMAX? I know ZT had trouble with their LMAX way back when.
S35, which is surprising because
Interesting.
S35 seems like it's really, I mean, I'm not going to say it seems because I don't know. I don't heat treat knives, but companies seem like they can heat treat S35 pretty easily.
Yeah. Hey,
but things happen. Things happen.
So I had an issue. It was with 154 CM, and it was an Emerson, and those are chisel ground. So, and the final edge on this one was chisel ground. It was V ground. But anyway, my point is maybe with yours, since it's a test bed, what about taking some sandpaper and some very fine sandpaper, putting it over your strop, and stropping a sort of a convex edge on it, and seeing if you can get it sharp that way.
Yes, that's not a bad idea. I mean, I've tried multiple different things, different stones, different ways of sharpening. I've tried like if you really look at it, like if you know the ZTO 450, you can tell I've removed a lot of steel from this bad boy. I even tried sharpening choil, but I mean, I'm willing to try anything. Speaking of 154 CM, though, I got an old SOCOM Mini from 1999 right here, and this was one of those gifts. Kara just walked in from work.
Hey, Kara. What's up? How's it going?
She could smell that I was holding her knife.
Yeah. You have a SOCOM Elite?
Yeah,
I do.
I got it right here.
That's funny.
Okay. She just walked in. Let her.
It's good to see you, Kara. That's funny. You stand up for your rights. You know what?
Knife rights. Knife rights.
That's right. Stand up for your knife rights. Let me see that again, man. Put that back up. Yeah. So I've been kind of chasing, not even thinking about it, but an old SOCOM. I love the old SOCOMs. I have one from 2013, and that's oh God, look at that. That's so rad. I love the old Tanto blade shape. It's a subtle difference between what they did then and what they're doing now, but I love that.
You know, the finish that they have on this one, it's I don't know how they do it. I have no idea, but it's got a kind of a powdery whiteness to it. I don't know if you can tell.
Yeah. Is that like a bead blast, or how is it?
I don't know
how is it different from a bead blast?
Like here, look at this is a stone wash, and you can kind of see the difference. I don't know if you can tell. It's like white. It's really weird.
Wait, what year did you say that was? 2001?
99.
I bet that's a bead blast or some sort of blast. SOCOM Elite is such a solid blade. Damon, I agree. Do you know what that kind of finish is on that blade, Damon? I think it's some sort of a blast.
Someone's got to know out there,
because Emerson was doing something like that at the time, and it was like someone's got to know exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird though, because it doesn't seem like a normal bead blast or sand blast or anything like that. It's almost got like a whiteness to it that I've never really seen before on anything else, at least that I can think of.
What is that blade steel? Is that ATS
154 CM?
Yeah, that's how we got to this, right? 154.
Yeah, because back then, that was I think that's over 20 years ago. That was a really good steel. It still is a really good steel. So
it is. It's actually like my favorite steel. I've come to believe that in actuality, like in terms of resharpening, in terms of stropping and using, and I just love 154, whether it's CPM or 154 CM. They're both
good steel.
I'm such I for my purposes.
What kind of edges do you like on your steel? You like a more toothier edge, a more polished, like a show edge?
You know what? That's funny, because that is only a distinction that I've come to recently. I love the way a nice polished edge looks. I really do. But man, I something about the toothiness. It's like a saw. It grips in. Yeah. It cuts. It's not gliding over anything.
Right.
Also,
that's my thing. I like to feel the edge and it bite my fingers. You know what I mean? Like I want to feel that bite, and that really gets me going. I used to just love a polished finish, but I feel like once I start using it, then it's just going to get worn, and I got to go over it again. With a nice working finish that's got a lot of bite to it, I can easily pick it back up, easily get it back, and I don't have to worry about it getting scratched up from cutting something, that's basically nothing, you know.
Yeah. Not to mention you get the feedback quicker that you're cutting yourself when you actually do cut yourself. Which I do all the time. Spirited Whiskey asks, been waiting forever for the new mini SOCOM Elites to come out. Anyone hear anything about the new releases? I personally know nothing. Jared, you?
No, but I did hear that they were talking about it. I think it's a little bit bigger though. I don't think it's as small as this one. I'm not positive on that.
Okay.
But I think it's slightly bigger.
What's the blade length on what you have? Hey, Justin, good to see you, sir.
This one is, let's see,
like 3 1/3 or something.
It is, yeah, about 3 1/4.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I've to go to me. Okay. Alex likes toothy. Yeah. Just, I mean, it's going to saw in there. It's going to grip.
See, yeah.
Wicked toothy edge. Yeah. I don't have any CDP one. Me personally?
Yeah.
I don't know who else I would think you were asking. Maybe the guy in the. So I use the Spyderco Sharp Maker with the 4 different stone levels for a long time, and I've had very good results. But that's through much practice. And then I recently got a KME, which I'm getting better and better at. And I have a couple of extremely sharp knives from that that I kind of jacked up the blades a little bit, just to finish.
Everything you got to learn on, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then when someone gives me like a super dull kitchen knife, I'll take it to I have a bench grinder that's a 48x2. It's like it's a Craftsman. And so like if something is so dull it would take hours and hours, I've got a steady hand and I can get a nice started. I can get a nice edge started. How about you? How do you sharpen the knives?
I used to use the Lansky past couple of years because when I was real young, I freehanded, but nothing to brag about. But the past 2 years, I've really gotten into freehanding, and I've ruined a lot of knives. I've came a long way, and now I've been getting into different stones and different finishes because now I've got it down pat. And once I really paid attention to some of the videos out there and really listened to what they were saying, I could get an edge pretty quickly. And then from there, it's just been getting better and better and more refinement and learning new little techniques, because you got to get your hands on the knife to the stone. It's the only way to really learn.
Wait, say that again. You got to do what?
You got to get your hands on the knife to the stone. You got to put the work in to really learn the freehand. But once you do, it's very satisfying. It's almost therapeutic. I know a lot of people don't like to sharpen and they dread sharpening, but man, I really find it therapeutic. I love it. I love the chase of the different stones and the different finishes. It's almost like a whole nother level of loving knives.
Yeah, I agree. The stropping to me is my favorite part. I have a lot of homemade strops. I have one in my car, one in my bag, one hanging over there. Like just because I might have to strop. Hey, Jim, can you bring up the last 2? I think it was Alex and Dave. KME gives me great edges. Dave Everett says Dave is a Kali martial artist, and so this man knows blades. Plus, I know he has a wicked collection. Awesome. Can you put that back up, Jim? I just wanted to see. He was telling some blades I leave off at 600 diamond for a toothy edge. Okay, so that's a good edge right there.
It's a good edge.
So I always go to 600, and then there's I only have the 4-stone starter package with the KME. So after 600, what is it? It's like
800. I don't know about yours, but I usually go from 6 to 8. So I think that's what it would be. But also 6 to 1,000 is just fine too.
Yeah,
I usually go between 600 and 800 for a real nice toothy edge, but even at 1,000 I can have a really nice toothy edge with like a kind of a semi-polish.
Okay, so what was the one from Alex a couple back? Left-handed knife guy. I'm making a micro bevel of nice. Taking a micro bevel of a Mora. Okay, I have a funny Mora story.
Okay,
all right,
I love stories.
Jared, take it for a second. I have to stand up for a sec. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm talking a micro bevel moral I'm watching. Let's see. I think I'm a little late on the comments.
Okay.
But it's all right, whatever. I did see Bad Monkey said that he likes a toothy edge.
Okay. So here's my Mora story. Can you hear me? I'm not sure. My mic.
Oh, yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, so this is what I got up for. I've been waiting to show this off. So this is the only Mora I have. It's a very, very traditional Mora. As you can see, it's got the wooden handle, and all of their more modern knives are based on this, basically. They just sort of softened up the handle and made it a little more ergonomic. But you see that, and it's sort of emblematic, right? Okay, so we've been homeschooling our daughters, and we bought a new desk to put in our home office for the girls to sit at. And we got it from IKEA, and this box came, and check out the symbol on their box for "Don't cut open with a knife." It's like,
wow,
it's like exactly a Mora. I was like, how cool is that, man? It's like the national.
Older. What do you know how old that is?
This one here?
Yeah.
This, you can still buy this. I bought this new on Amazon a few years ago.
Oh, really?
It's just sort of like their model number 2. I think that the model number 1 doesn't have one of these, and they still sell it. It's like the first thing they ever sold. But I just think it's funny that it matches the
it does. Yeah.
Their sort of generic symbol is a Mora. Okay.
Pop it back up.
I thought that was much cooler. When I got the box, I was like, honey, look, it looks just like a Mora. She's like, yeah, can you just open it up and make the box? I'm like,
are you talking about knives again?
Don't you have a show on Thursday that you can do that on?
Right. Don't you get enough talking out of your system?
So, okay, wait. Speaking of talking, there's I wanted to talk about a couple of new knives that came out, but especially I wanted to get to this in case we blab on it, and that's because it's a crowdfunded knife, and I've been into these crowdfunded knives recently. The knives are always interesting and unique, and to me, it's also cool that after a little debate, not even a debate, I flew off the handle about an article I covered on this show once a while back, and I said, do we really need another titanium frame lock flipper that isn't even funded yet? You know, it was about a crowd-funded knife. It was a Cunwell. Yeah. It was, and Jim was like, hey, Bob, everyone's trying to achieve their knife dream, dude. Cut some slack. And I was like, wait a sec, you're absolutely right. Sorry, I was being a jerk. Sorry. Yeah. And now, like Jim flipped the script on me, and I ate crow about that, and I continue to do so. But I also think it's great to talk about some of these crowd-funded things. And Origin Goods has this new Kiridashi. It's a pocket Kiridashi. It comes in this beautiful little high-grain leather sheath, and it's the interesting thing about this. It does not have the traditional chisel grind. A lot of Japanese knives, kitchen knives and utility knives go with that chisel grind, where one side is completely flat, and then there's a bevel that angles into that, because you can get chisel grinds just exceptionally, unbelievably sharp. Sometimes you might pay the price with edge stability and stuff like that, but for a kitchen knife or a utility knife where you're not expecting to bang on it too hard, it's a great edge. But the people over at, Mark Liss over at Origin Goods went with a V grind, which is a great and interesting and unusual choice for a Kiridashi. But for a modern day EDC, I think that's an excellent choice. Yeah. And it's got this great little notch in the back. You can open up your beer bottles with it. And I think they have a couple of levels. And if you get the higher tier level, you see this sort of sculpting on the model up on screen. You can get some sculpting. You can get that nice little leather fob with the lanyard bead on it, and you can get the beautiful leather sheath. Anyway, I think it's cool. It's a Kickstarter. It's $10.95. It's a V grind. Well, what do you think of that, Jared?
I like that leather pouch it comes in. I like the stitching around it. You know, you can tell quality leather work, by its stitching. And it looks like it's made really well, especially for the price. Did you just say, how much did you just say?
I didn't mention a price, actually, but
I thought you did. I thought I heard you say a price.
No, it's a Kickstarter, and it's up till April 25th.
How does that work now? If you do the Kickstarter, you enter money in to support it, and then do you get it like when it drops or when they make some? Are you the first one to get it? Is that how that works?
Yeah, if they make their if they reach their goal with fundraising, then the first batch gets made, and you're in on that first batch.
Okay.
Yeah, and sometimes like we had Bone Daddy Blade Works. We've been talking about their project, the Axis, for a while. It's a hand axe that turns into a knife that you can put on a shaft. It's really cool.
Cool.
Yeah, they surpassed their goal. It's like a modern caveman tool. Really cool.
Right.
They surpassed their goal, and so they can continue to take in money. They switched over to Indiegogo, I think, to widen out their opening window. But I think it's a great way to get ahead of steam on a project like this, because you look at this. Doesn't it look like a classy thing you would like drop in your pocket, and you could go to a wedding, and
yeah, it seems like you could put that just about anywhere. It kind of reminds me of, and I know the sheet's a little bit different, but something like the little CRKT Minimalist.
Oh my God!
It kind of reminds me of something like that. They're so small. I put this, I carry a Scout right on the front of my belt. Mm-hmm. And I forget about it. I mean, it's so light, and I forget about it until I have to go to the bathroom or something. But it's right there, and it's so easy to use, and they get really sharp. And so, I know you were talking about you said that one's got a V grind, or that one does have the chisel grind.
This one has the V grind, the Origin Goods crowdfunded one. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, there it is, right there. So Jared, that Minimalist, the very one you have, the Bowie, rode behind my, I have to carry an ID at work, and it rode behind my ID very discreetly around my neck in open carry for years and years. And now I switched because I got something new. But that is like one of my favorite knives of all time. Look at that. Wait, go back down, Jim. That's a gorgeous profile there. And then you go back, and if you would, oh, look at that, carven wood, beautiful. Kara, we're talking about a new crowdfunded Kiradashi, little pocket Kiradashi.
Don't worry, I've been listening to everything.
Oh, all right. So, what do you think of this little thing? I mean, would you? It's gorgeous, isn't it? I mean, you just throw it in that thing, you put it in your front pocket, forget all about it.
That's actually something that I always think of knives in perspective to what I carry them to work, because that's where I use things the absolute most. And that's honestly a fixed blade I don't think I'd be afraid to take out probably at work, because it looks like a little razor. Yeah. I like it.
It's very non-threatening, but it has that beautiful Kiradashi sort of traditional look. Jared, what were you saying? I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Nothing. I was saying that like you said, it's something that people aren't going to fear. Like when you pull it out, it's something so minimalist, but yet it could do anything you need it to do.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so if you like this Origin Goods Kiradashi, pocket Kiradashi, they're open. This crowdfunding campaign with Kickstarter is open till April 25th. That's coming up. That's like very soon.
Awesome.
Like 2 days.
Like tomorrow or something.
Get on it. Yeah, that is cool. Now I have to. Now I have no choice. So we were here talking about, Kara, we were talking about all sorts of things, stuff we like to carry, the edges we like on our knives. Do you sharpen knives as well? Do you find it therapeutic?
I do not. I do not sharpen knives. It's really hard to get into something when you have a human machine that does it for you.
I was gonna say, do you find it therapeutic when he's away sharpening knives?
The place he sharpens knives at is like 16 feet away from the bed, which is like another 16 feet away from where we're sitting right now. We live in kind of an open concept floor plan.
Gotcha.
So it's just a part of the day. It's kind of like that thing that he does where like we're together but separate. Like usually I'll be doing something else, but you'll be doing that. But we still talk though. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just, and then I'm like, hey, while you're over there, can you do this knife? I destroyed it.
Yeah. I thought about doing a video, like just showing her how to, but not touching nothing, just talking. and telling her what to do and seeing if she can pull it off. Because I feel like
like using me more as a teaching tool for the people that want to find a good how-to video, because I have sharpened twice freehand, and I mean, I don't know.
You didn't do bad.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't want to brag,
but for 2 times, I mean, that's the absolute beginning of learning how to freehand. So if she can pull off an edge just from me saying what to do, then I feel like
anyone can.
Right.
If a little old lady can do it.
Freehand.
That's not an insult.
Freehand sharpening on a stone is not easy. Kara, you've gotten 2 shout outs, one from Women Carry Knives and Bad Monkey. They're both saying, hey, what's up? Good to see you. I don't know if I don't think you were looking up.
I saw Bad Monkeys, but that was it.
Okay, yeah. Women Carry Knives says, "What's up?" Sharpening. Okay, on a flat stone, that's where people start to freak out about recurves. I am not freaked. I love recurves, and I'm not freaked out about them. And I think, Jared, it's because of the we were just talking about the Sharp Maker. Oh, that's the new Dirk Pinkerton. Is that the?
No. This is a Kubi, but it's it's about as much recurve as you can get, and I just
that's cool, man.
You know what I use, man? I use the little Lansky Stones. They're cheap.
Skinny.
They're just skinny flat stones. They're about a 1/2 inch wide, and it works perfect for any recurve. I even do like this buck right here. This has got a pretty decent recurve right here, and they can do just about anything. I can hold it in one hand, and then it's still freehand because I hold the stone. Right. I don't put it on the Lansky machine. I just hold it. And you
can focus on a smaller section when you have a thinner stone. So I could imagine that would work. Wow.
I have a round stone, but those little Lansky stones just work so good that I don't even use the round stone. I use the round stone for other stuff.
Yeah. Another NAF guy uses stones, says it's easy. You just pull it through the groove there. It's all a matter of feel. Kara, what were you carrying today? We forgot to pocket check you when you walked in.
Oh, I have Kaiser Fire Ant. I carry this one.
Ooh. Speaking of Dirk Pinkerton.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. I really like a lot of Dirk Pinkerton's designs. I think they're very utilitarian. I think they work well for like a working person, just those blade shapes. And you see, I got my anno job I did here.
Yeah, man, that is a nice anno job, and it carries the same kind of color scheme carries on the clip where it goes from purple to blue.
I did it the same. So like I just made sure I kind of just remembered how I advanced the numbers in the chemical bath with the voltage, and I just kind of advanced them at the same rate, or I had Jared advance them at the same rate while I lifted the knife out of the chemical bath, and it came out pretty like even as far as the clip and the other side.
We have a his and hers. Gorgeous. This is the bigger version. So
I used to carry that one.
Wait, what's that one?
The Rogue.
The Rogue,
Kaiser,
that's right.
The whole Kaiser. And then we basically did the same thing, but this one's flame anode.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, it came out really, really sweet.
It's beautiful. Yes. I like the subtlety of a flame anno, I got to say.
Me too.
So are the two of you interested in doing this as a creative endeavor? Is this something that you're willing to do on other people's knives, or is this I
wouldn't not do it. I wouldn't not do it, but there are some amazing people out there that do such a good job, and they're way ahead.
Yeah, I don't think people should be sending stuff to us, because this right here was one of, I think, maybe 3 or 4 knives that I've...
more than that, but still, though, it's not something...
that I've anoded with chemicals.
Oh, okay, right.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, I don't let you finish,
But yeah, so, I don't know if it's going to always turn out this good. I have confidence in myself, but the fact of the matter is, if somebody was like, hey, do my knife, I'd be a bit nervous about that at this point, unless they wanted like a solid color, and I probably couldn't guarantee the exact shade of said color. So that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, it also seems like you have to be 100% comfortable with being able to refund every single person whose knife you have in hand at that moment that you might
you definitely don't want to take on a knife that you can't afford.
No. So Dave Everett, sharpening my recurve blades on the Spyderco Triangle Sharp Maker. Me too. Even the big ones, though I'm starting to go with a strop and sandpaper for that, because you almost get a sort of convex that I like.
Nice.
Jared, compared to other guys, yeah, not flipping knives. Yeah, no doubt. So Spirited Whiskey is saying it's nice to have a fellow traveler in your journey of knife insanity.
It is. I'm definitely blessed. I'm very blessed. She's amazing. Like with this whole thing with the knives and being into it with me, and it's definitely a great hobby to have a partner with.
Spyderco medium stone and ceramic plate will do wonders for 90%. Yes, I agree with you. Another NAF guy. Another NAF guy. I agree with you on that. Oh, you just subscribed to me today. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Yeah, it will. And if you get a steady enough hand and you're conscious enough, I have to do the first. So on the Spyderco Sharp Maker, if it's a full sharpening I'm doing, I start with the diamond stones and then progress to the medium and then the fine and then the extra fine.
Yeah,
and I'll do 50 strokes. So that's 25 on both sides on the corner, and then turn it to the flats and then do the same thing. I get obsessive with numbers sometimes. Unfortunately, not with the ones that count. But
do you count your way down from there? Like go from 20 strokes to 15, then to 10 to 5?
No. I'll just do 50 on the corner, switch it. 50 on the flat, switch stones, 50 on the corner, 50 on the flat. And I'll do that all the way down. But the first 10, I have to make sure that I'm doing them straight up and down. Otherwise, I'll get a wicked burr on one side just from a natural sort of tendency to. So it takes a little doing. And, I talked to Apostle P, Rob Bixby, you know him, right? Sharpening guru. Yeah, but you know of him. And I asked him what he thought of the Sharp Maker, and he doesn't think much of the Sharp Maker. So,
everybody's got their thing,
Yeah. Me too. I was like, I could get a pretty goddamn, excuse the French, I can get a pretty sharp edge with the old Sharp Maker. But, yeah.
A lot of people seem like they're liking them too, because I've seen a bunch of videos of people basically screaming about them, saying how good of an edge they could get with them. So,
and they're not they're not $300 or $160. My KME was $160. So do you guys know not that you're guys, do the two of you know about Poltergeist Works? Do you know Jacob?
I don't think so.
So it's a Polish knife company. It's this guy, Jacek Wykorsowicz, and I can never get his name right, but Polish is a beautiful language, and unfortunately I can't speak it. But Poltergeist Works and Jacob's work is really cool. There's a YouTuber named Terra Fanatic who used to collect his work, and it's gorgeous stuff. He's been doing stuff for Real Steel recently, and he came out recently with this really small convex edge outdoor sort of fixed blade, and I think it's totally cool. I love the way this thing looks.
Oh my god, it's so cute.
The CVX-80 it's called CVX-80. That's a 3-point.
That looks like that looks. Oh, I'm not gonna be able to remember the name, but there's another Real Steel, but it's a flipper, and they use those two like the pivot in the back screw look the same. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't know, but it's another one of Poltergeist Works designs, because that's a total signature of this guy on his flippers or on his. Yeah, he puts those giant chain ring bolts.
No,
the Metamorph is the G5.
The long skin.
Oh, yes, I can't remember. It's gonna drive me nuts.
I know what you're talking about, though.
Terrasol.
We actually talked about it here not that long ago. Poltergeist has released through Real. Yeah, has released it through Real Steel. Yeah. And hey, Andrew, good to see you, sir.
We got the Real Steel Griffin sitting right here.
Oh wait, let's see that. Jim,
that thing looks very comfortable to hold. Looks like it has really good ergos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does. It does kind of look like a Vox, but that handle with that. Yeah, let me see that. Oh, that's the button lock.
Yes, this thing is amazing. For the budget, I don't think you can get a better button lock.
So why are button locks so uncommon? I mean, the more
I don't know.
I can tell you why.
I hate it though.
The reason why is because a lot of them have a little bit of lock rock issues. After you flip them, 1,000 times, they start getting that little bit of play. But this thing, I beat the heck out of this thing, Bob, and it is as smooth as ever. It's locked up, rock solid, and I mean, I couldn't ask for a better button lock.
No, it's great. It really is.
And you know, people put a lot. I myself do with some knives. You know, put a lot of credence in its fidgetability, or that seems like it's got a lot of axis lock or compression lock fun in it. You know, I just ordered a Real Steel Griffin today. It is a cool looking knife. So this
good order. You're going to be very happy, Justin.
They make a premium version of it that's
titanium,
and then it has like carbon fiber inlays along like two of them, kind of in the scales. I didn't get that at the time because I wasn't trying to spend $200 on something that I didn't really know Real Steel at the time. But this thing was like $60-something.
$65, I think, or something.
Yeah,
like that.
and like look at that action.
Yeah.
It's so, and look at that.
That blade looks extra thin too.
It's thin and very slicey.
Yeah,
and it's on needle bearings instead of regular bearings. It's on needle bearings. And you know how you said your steel was 154 cm?
Yeah.
Well, mine's 14C28N. And that's what's on this thing.
It's like a scalpel, man.
I love 14C28N steel.
Hey, Jim, bring up that last comment from Andrew, please. Button locks are awesome. You can hand them to a non-knife person, and they usually know how to use them. Very intuitive.
That's very true.
I just gave one to someone at work that was a button lock because I was concerned. I gave her that one Tangram button lock one.
Oh yeah.
I hadn't used it in a while, and she lost the other knife I gave her, and she's really into it right now. So I wanted to keep that train going. So I'm like, you know what? She'll like the button lock because it'll get her into like the fidgeting side of it because she has a little trouble with the other one. So she loves that thing.
Everybody should get other people into knives when they can.
Yeah.
So, that's cool.
I couldn't agree with you more. I've gotten a lot of people at work into knives. The button lock. Yeah, man. They are a lot of fun to play with. I was working with someone and they asked to borrow my knife and I gave it to them. And this was in 2015, summer of 2015. I don't know why. I know why I remember that, but I usually don't remember dates. And
the same way.
I gave, hey, Lindy, good to see you. I gave my friend a paramilitary. He wasn't a guy I work with. He used it. He gave it back to me, and he was like, how does it? I don't know how it. And I was like, dude, and I was standing there with a guy I work with who's an engineer. So like, he's all about figuring out how stuff works. And he was looking like, gee, I bet it's that little tab on the back, you know. But it was just so funny because, you know, people can guess a back lock. They know that. And like you said, and like Andrew said, a button lock. It's like it's got a giant big button with concentric circles. It looks like a target. You're gonna push it, and you're gonna figure it out.
Access lock seems to be pretty easy too for people. Easier than liners or frame locks. It seems like.
I think the hand positioning is a little unique. Like that whole like.
You can see the button though. You can see kind of what you need to do.
I've had people try to physically press down on an access lock, so it's not 100% obvious. And I think that positioning, the cupping the knife in your hand and the pulling down on both sides evenly takes a small amount of getting used to. But I do think that once you get that down, it's so easy to be able to close that it's just incredible. Like it really is. If you can give it to a beginner, I think it is actually easy.
Yeah,
it really is.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because it is true. It's funny how many people you'll hand them a knife and they'll even with the pivot, they'll want it to be a switchblade. They're like, how do I get this to open? I'm like, well, you gotta just open it. I wanted to get to one last knife drop. I just wanted to see if you guys know about this. So this is knife news. I look at knife news all the time, and so this isn't me out beating the streets and finding these knives, but I love seeing them when they come out. And the new Viper. Do you know Viper knives out of Italy?
Yes. Oh yeah. We just gave one away for our giveaway.
That's right. What did you get? What did you give away?
We gave away a Viper Lily, and
that's the full bellied
23. Yeah, belly for days. Belly for days. That's what Stasa 23 used to say.
Right. Yeah. Oh, so he gave that to you. You gave it away.
Yes, he did. He's a hell of a guy. He gave us a bunch of knives.
He is awesome.
He's such an awesome guy, man. The community is awesome.
Oh, yeah. He's got a great perspective. By the way, that Saturday was awesome. We talked about that earlier, but I'm still buzzing from that. So Viper has a new fixed blade series out, and it's small and it's on this fixed blade EDC sort of bent that we've been talking.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, the Barus or Barus, Berus.
Is that carbon fiber?
Yes. Yeah, and I'm generally not a big carbon fiber guy, but God, man, it does look nice on a little fixed blade, I gotta say. And okay, so look at this knife. What's the first thing about this design that jumps out to you?
To me, I mean, it looks like you can get right up to that blade, real nice and choked up.
All right.
I know is there a little tiny sharpening choil on there?
Yeah,
it looks
that's
like
a
little tiny one. Okay, Kara, what jumps out to you as unique about this or anything?
The giant hole in the back.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I like that. That's for the super lanyard enthusiast who must have 4 or 5 lanyards.
What is that for? Honestly, besides the obvious though, what is that part called again, Jared? I always forget.
The ricasso?
Yeah, the ricasso. It's very up front, it's very abrupt looking with that little choil down there. Yeah, it reminds me of a spider cone. Yeah.
The thing that jumped out to me, and then it was that he talks about a little bit in this article, is the finger choil in the middle of the handle. Usually it's up toward where the forefinger would be. I'm not sure if is that what you were talking about, Kara?
No. I was talking about the way that the choil meets the blade over here, kind of the way the steel.
I got you. The little scoop up by the
Yeah, it's just very abrupt seeming, but not in a bad way. I just noticed it.
So this thing.
I was saying that's kind of like what I was talking about though, where that notch out is. It looks like your middle finger would go there, and then you'd be able to get your pointer finger right up to that cutting edge.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Oh, I got you. Okay, so that's right. It's almost like the forefinger. Well, anyway, they give you a choil in the middle for your second finger, which I think is cool. And
I do too.
And it also seems like it might cheat the blade in an angle that you might like for what do you call it? Utility. And for actually, what do you call it? Oh, actually using, not just collecting. That wacky middle finger choil looks like a Vox Dapper. Yes, it's right. Yeah, like that Dapper is a very cool knife. I know Stasa has one. But that the choil, and who am I to second guess Mr. Voxnaze's design choices? But it felt like that forefinger choil was a little far back, almost enough back that it's for the middle finger, and then you hold up.
You know what else he likes to do, and I don't know if it's on this one, but he likes to put the jimping right in the middle of the blade instead of right at the beginning.
That's cool.
Put it halfway up.
That's kinda for this. Yeah, for this kind of thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Where you can go halfway up the blade, right there. There's another one right there.
Let's see that. Can you? Is there gimping?
Let me get it there. Right where it's halfway up the blade, and you can get right up there. Or however, I seen a video one time with him, and he was talking about that how he likes to be able to go like that. Yeah, exactly like you're doing, just like that.
His knives are typically, the designs are typically more petite, so it makes more sense on a smaller knife to have the jimping further out because most people's hands, are going to fall further out on the blade. So it makes sense. I mean, even my smaller hands, it naturally wants to go out that far. Yeah. I mean, especially if I'm going to use the choil.
Right. Especially if you're going to use the choil. Exactly. Yeah. And with that little knife, you're up like a choil. I mean, it kind of chokes up right up by the blade. So if it has it, I don't know if that fixed blade has it or not.
Oh, this does. I'm sorry. I think Lindy was serious when she was asking that question, but yeah, it does have jimping.
What's up, Lindy?
It's kind of, it ends right at the top of the plunge grind. And goes to that little scallop in the carbon fiber. You can see a little run of it there. But yeah, so this is designed by Tommaso Rumici. What a great name, Tommaso Rumici.
Yeah, that's a really cool name.
and there are 3 different sizes. One is 3. Let's see, one's 2.6, one's 2.4, and one is I don't know. It's all we're splitting hairs at this point. It's all too small.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
But it's pretty neat. And
definitely.
What was I going to say about the? Oh, okay. So this is the guy who designed the Summit Knives half dome.
Half dome, yeah.
Do you know or like or have ever held that knife? Either
we have not.
There was a time period when I saw it first drop that I was interested in it, and then I got off of wanting it after seeing, I think it was Nick Shabazz's review. There was something he said about it, and I tried not to let those nitpicks determine my purchases, but the price and just not knowing about that knife so much, I just was like, forget it. So I've never held one because of that.
Sometimes those little details that somebody says, can just change your mind about something.
You're just like, no, I don't want that.
But I've had that happen though, and then I've gotten the knife and I had the exact opposite experience. So you got to listen to a lot of people when it comes to reviews. Sorry.
No. I'm jumping in. I'm an interrupter, and I lecture my daughters about it, but I do it anyway. But what I was going to say is, and now I have no idea what I was going to say. No, what were we talking about? Remind me.
Half dome.
The half dome. Jeez, look. So that's the world I live in. Nick Shabazz talks about his. Nick Shabazz talks about his small hands, and I have medium. It depends on the gloves. Sometimes they fit. I can get them in small hands, and I feel like an assassin in small gloves. Or sometimes comfortably they fit in medium. Or so with him, you know his glove size, you know his hand size.
Yes.
He's
a small.
Yes,
small. How tall are you, Bob?
I'm 48 years old. I'll be 49 in August.
How tall?
Oh, I thought you said how old. See, I'm like, I'm 48. Why do you ask? I'm 6 feet old. I'm 6 feet tall.
Okay, I'm 6'2", or not 6'2", but I'm 6 foot.
Also.
So you can get a gauge on how big his hands are, and I think his whole problem with the half dome was ergonomic. So if and I look at that, the design of that handle, and I love it because it looks like you've taken a classic Bowie handle of a certain type, the horse hoof style handle of Bowie knife, and shrunk it down. So it looks like it would fit in your hands if you have enormous hands or if you have really small hands, but everywhere in between. Hang on. Before we go any further, Jim, will you bring those last two comments up, please? They were both praising Saturday. Not the one where you called me old, but I wanted to say thank you, Spirited Whiskey. Bob and Jim, that 5-hour marathon town hall was epic, all caps. Thank you, sir.
Yes, it
was there for the entire thing and loved every minute. Thank you very much. We had a blast. Jared, Kara, you were there for a brief moment before you had to duck out to work. We were all grateful for that. We had so much fun. Podcast was so good, especially during this time. Thank you both, Damon and Spirited Whiskey. We had a blast, and I felt very, I just felt lucky that there was so much goodwill that I could reach out to those people, and I don't want to call it a blessing in disguise or whatever it is, but at least right now people were home and they could participate, and it was a lot of fun. And we got a couple of people.
There's a lot of people.
Yep, we had a lot of people, and 2 people couldn't get on. Tashi Barucha was having trouble from Paris getting on, and Greg Lightfoot out in he lives on a beautiful sprawling ranch out in Western Canada. There was a communication problem with times, and so he called me after the show and was like, "I'm ready to go." And I was like, "Oh man!" So. But this is all leading to there will be more of these, probably more streamlined and not so epic, shorter, but longer. One thing I realized in having all those people on, thank you, sir. Thank you, Justin. All 5.5 hours. Well, that's due to the guest list, I'm sure. But one thing I learned is that each one of those people, I just wanted to keep talking to again, because I've interviewed each one of those people for an hour or 45 minutes or whatever, and then having them come back on, and already having established that, I felt like I could just have a conversation with them, and each time I wanted it to last longer. So it was a lot of fun, and I know I was Mike Hogan.
The same way with you, Bob. I felt like I wanted to to keep a conversation going. But I know there was a lot of people. It's just one of those things. But I was excited thinking about, man, I got to get back on. You know, and then when you were asking me if I wanted to come on tonight, I was like, yes, I do.
Yep.
I was pumped.
So, Kara, we were talking before about. Wait, hang on. Before I shift gears into this, because I want to ask you about how the two of you collect as co-collectors. But before we go on, I just want to say, before we wrap up the thing, Bob Terzuola donated 3 items: a drop knife, a collaboration knife, a cool titanium logo bottle opener, and a copy of his book. And then another friend of ours, Stu Ashley, who has Stone and Steel, a knife sales company up in New England, donated a super CQC7 Emerson, which is going to be so hard for me to auction off, but I have to.
Wow.
He donated it to the channel, and right out the bat, instead of saying thank you, I said, I'll auction it and give the money to Knife Rights. And I was like, why did I say? I didn't have to say that. I could have waited. Why did I say that? What a hero. Oh, look at me. Right. So that's where that's going now that the world knows. So thank you for those donations, and we're going to do that. That'll be something that happens downstream, but I just wanted to drop that out there. Kara, so I already talked to Jared about Terzuola, amazing guy. I already talked to Jared about your different not needs, but your different collecting desires and propensities, and how do you split the budget, or how do you decide what knife you're going to get next? You're feeding the addiction of 2 people. How do you figure that out?
Usually it goes like I will randomly order things and without him having a say at all. But with him in mind, I don't know. It's weird. I probably shouldn't do it, but I like surprising.
I told him that we shared the knives anyway.
We do. So there is no like my knife or his knife. You probably hear us like joking, like that's mine. Like I said that about the Microtech, although that one was given specifically to me. Gift. That's probably the only one. She gets a lot more gifts than I do. So. I don't. But
go figure.
No, it's just probably like anybody else. Like when we get a bug up our butt about something.
Yeah, gotta have it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Wait. Let's not.
Sorry.
Well, I was gonna say, let's not be coy about this. Jared? What if you're into like super aggressive, or Kara? What if you're into this right now, and Jared? You're into, say, this right now. I mean, like, what are you going to do about this? How are you going to work this out?
Well, I think the best way to say it is
buy both.
No. Yeah, but like let's say both is like out of the budget, right? If both is out of the budget, usually it's not necessarily with us. I think it's about a type of knife we're wanting or something we're chasing. Sometimes there's a particular knife which muddies things a little, but when it's about the type of knife, I think we just both will get a knife that we're wanting. Like if we're like, okay, we want new knives, we'll both try to each get a knife that fits within the budget or whatever and go for it. But a lot of times we'll just get like the one, like if Jared went through a phase where he really wanted like the now I don't even know, like that one, like a Tucson, whatever. And, and then he'll just get it. Like, we don't always sit down and have a conversation. We're going to buy knives. Like, he kind of buys his.
Sometimes there's a knife, though. Like, we both know, like, when we see it, we know it's in our budget, and we're both like, we got to have that.
Yes.
Okay. Like, we just automatically know.
Yeah, it's not a huge conversation.
We do outweigh sometimes. Sometimes there's a knife, like, I'll want. She'll just be like, I don't like it. And I was like, why? And I'll sit there and I'll chase her around for a week, showing her the phone, but listen to it. Look how cool it is.
Even though I never ever say that you can't get it. Like, I've never been like, don't get it. But
I don't like part. I don't like it.
Baby, did you ever hear lock up like that? Did you ever hear a knife lock like that?
Exactly.
Okay, get it.
Oh, that is so annoying.
Can you hear that?
That is so annoying when you follow me around going, listen, and you have like a video. I'm like, it's a video. It's a video.
Kara, how would you define your taste? Like what do you look for in a knife? What do you like? Like, what's your wheelhouse?
Like, I do everything in life in phases, like with eating and in interest. Like I will like eat something for 6 months and I really like it, and then I'll be tired of it. And that's how I am with knives as well. like when I first got into knives, this was one of my like first purchases, was this massive thing.
What is that? Put that back up.
That was
the one from before, the recurve.
That's why I said, remember I said to you earlier that when we first got into knives, she would like the big knives.
Yeah, I like huge knives. So I would say right now, my taste is small utilitarian, like kind of like what I showed you before with the fire ant, like the small but useful. I would say that's the best way to describe it. Another one that kind of feeds that purpose was this Tucson. I forget the name of it.
Nice.
158.
158. So it still has that downward tip. I really like the downward thing. And the only reason I even switched into liking small knives was simply because of the same thing I always say, which is my pockets just do not have the space for work. Yeah. Now, outside of work, there's ways around that. A lot of like women's leggings have really large side pockets, in which case I could carry a bigger knife than Jared in some of those. But for day-to-day use, I wish I could have bigger things. So, but because I can't, I think that's why I like it.
You gotta carry what you can, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Neves, how do you budget your time dedicated to the channel on a weekly, monthly basis? Interesting question from Spirited Whiskey here.
Well, now that there's everything that's going on, my work schedule is off and on. I'm working a little bit, but not like I was, so I have a lot more free time at home. And she taught me how to edit now, so now I can edit the videos. So I can upload and record whenever I want. And her schedule is really crazy. Like she's always at work when I'm like wanting to film, or like when I'm off of work, basically. We're like on a mixed schedule. So we do it when we can. When we're off together, we record, and we usually have planned stuff ready. And then the little things that I want to do that she's like not that interested in, I just film and then I upload it now. So
yeah. Yep. Right. That answers the question. Yeah, I would agree.
I love small and useful too, to fly under the radar of law enforcement. So law enforcement, it says Charles was saying he likes I love small and useful too, to fly under the radar of law enforcement.
We don't really have a problem here.
No, in the city it's 3 inches and under if you're downtown.
What city are you close to?
Chicago,
okay.
But downtown it's 3 inches and under, but outside of downtown you can carry pretty much whatever you want.
Just not autos.
So, well, you can have an auto, you have to have an FOID card.
Oh yeah, you can get a card to carry it. That's right.
So as long as you have a FOID card for carrying a firearm, you can carry
okay. Okay, your concealed carry. That's funny. So I'm in Virginia. I grew up in Cleveland, incidentally. So kind of close-ish to you, closer than I am right now. But my concealed carry permit here in Virginia does not allow me to carry much in the way of knives at all. It's as if knives are more dangerous than guns here.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting.
There's a difference. So we have this FOID card in Illinois. It's unique to our state, and it's not the same thing as a concealed carry. There's that as well.
Yeah.
This is like a card, like you have to get it to just own a gun, or you don't have to get it to own an auto, but to carry it. It still is not anything to do with like the concealed carry permit. Like that's like another level
right, Chicago. Right.
Yeah, but
you can get the concealed carry.
It's so easy to get though. Like you just have to have a face and an ID.
Well, they do the background check. It takes 3 months.
Well, you know what I mean.
The concealed carry takes 8 hours.
Yeah, a face for a picture to be. So in Chicago is notorious for its ridiculous knife laws, as is many other places at this point, like New York City. So ridiculous that Spyderco even has a model named after your beautiful city, love Chicago, called the Chicago.
Yeah, because it's actually only 2.5 inches in city limits. It's not 3.
Oh, I just read it said under 3 is what it said when I read it.
So you're in the greater Chicago area, I take it.
Yeah.
What's the atmosphere like in terms of just bombing around with a knife? You feel good about that?
I don't. Okay, I've had lots of run-ins with cops.
Depends what town you're in.
They around here, like it seems like if you treat it like a tool, they usually act like it is. I've had them take it away from me and then just give it right back, after I'm done interacting with them. But I've never had them give me a problem. I've had big knives, and they've always just gave it back as if, you know, it's a pocket knife, you know.
Yeah,
and I never, and it's not like I tried to conceal it and hide it from them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, if you're up front, I got a knife, it's a tool, you know, then they're going to treat it as such. But if you're downtown, you know, who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't.
And you never want to get your hinder taken away from you over an inch, you know.
Yeah, that would be ridiculous.
You're like, I got a knife there. It's for work. And they're like, yeah, what's your job? You're like, well, I'm an assassin. And when I'm not doing that, I'm just a general thug. And they're like, okay, you can go about your business, sir.
I need that. I need that to work. You can't take it away. I need that tool.
That's funny.
Without a knife.
No. But in all seriousness, yeah, you don't want your hinderer taken away because that's something I face sometimes. Spirited Whiskey. I'm in Chicago. Never had a single issue carrying any folder whatsoever. Beautiful. Beautiful. You know, I lived in New York City for a long time. Didn't have to worry about it. No city is worse than Los Angeles. In California, you have to open carry a knife, but in Los Angeles, you have to conceal carry it.
You have to carry a fixed blade. You got to carry a fixed blade, I'm guessing?
Just put the clip on the inside of your pocket?
Right. Well, what is it? Yeah, does the clip count as
oh, that's weird.
Open carry?
Okay, so do you remember CMFTW, the knife maker, who he died maybe a year ago? But he was a guy. He was online. He was kind of in all these knife circles, and he was a kind of a crazy dude. He had a great heart. He was a bit of a crazy guy. But anyway, he made knives and sold them, and beautiful like big Bowies and fighting knives. And he he lived in California and was on parole for this or that. I'm not sure what, but he would carry his knife. He was like, in this state, you know, I cannot have a gun to protect myself. He was a former infantryman in the army, and you know, wanted to be armed and wasn't allowed to, and so he started carrying his knives in what he called CM carry. You know, he continue mission fuck the world was his name, CMFTW, and so he would carry his knife in CM carry is what he called it, and that's how he sold a lot of them. So it was like upside down, with the handle down so that everyone could see it and what they would know it's a knife, and he could draw it and
right. So he draw it downward, like
yes, and have it in reverse grip, but it was hanging down from his belt. He was a cool character, but the point is, he was in California. He had to walk around with that knife showing, and
so I wonder if a clip counts then. Like if you have the clip hanging out of your pocket, or if you have a big part coming out like this. I mean, isn't that's open carry? I mean, you can see my knife. I mean, I don't know how the laws go. I'm asking.
All right, so I'm gonna guess what you were just holding up, and then we're gonna get back to that. That was a native lightweight.
Nope, Shaman.
Ah, okay, all right. Okay.
You're close though.
Big nerd. Sorry. But I'm sorry. What were you saying before I so rudely?
I was saying if you have it in your pocket, right? Yeah, and you have this much hanging out, so you can see I'm carrying a knife. You can see
plus
my
the clip, yeah,
and you can see this much hanging out of my pocket. Wouldn't that be considered open carry? I mean, I don't know. I'm asking at this point.
In Virginia, it is. But then when your jacket covers over it because it's cold, then it's concealed. The same thing in a car. Like if you have a knife in your console, and who doesn't have 1, 2, 3, 4 knives in their console? Yeah, that's a concealed weapon. It's within reach, and he's there, and you know it's concealed. At least in my state, so you really do have to be careful. Jim, I almost called him James again. James, go back to the last comment, please, and then we'll come back to Charles. California knife laws are, you know what, from your picture, Andrew, you look like you're from California. You look like an easygoing, cool guy. Let's see, California knife laws are fairly easy. Cities has ordinance, e.g. LA, but generally not as bad as people think. No concealed carry. Autos over 2 inches. Now, what's that all about? Okay, I know what that's all about. That's about West Side Story. That's about Rebel Without a Cause and The Outsiders, and you know, movies that are 50 years old that people are freaked out about.
Yeah, if people really knew, if people actually learned and took the time to learn, there wouldn't be no laws. There really
there's no laws at all for anything.
No, for knife carrying.
Just no laws.
Because I mean, if you really know deep down, most people don't get attacked by a pocket knife. It's always a kitchen knife. Everybody's got a kitchen knife in their house.
Yeah,
and
no doubt it's some gnarly serrated thing.
Yeah, and
hold on though, because I actually have a life experience that pinpoints on a couple things we talked about. I recently was called for jury duty in a murder case. I didn't wind up staying on the jury all the way through, but I was there to know pretty much enough of the details. And it was a murder that involved a pocket knife. I personally think it was self-defense, but he got found guilty. Anyway, when they were questioning us to be jurors, they kept asking everyone, do you carry a knife? Do you find it inherently wrong to carry a knife? And 90% of the people, actually probably 95% of the people said they don't carry a knife. Most of them thought it was okay to carry a knife, but there was a massive amount of people that thought there is no need for you to carry a knife, this and that. And then some people were saying, well, it depends what kind. Like if it's that scary, fast opening one, then no, I don't think you should. But if it's just a regular Swiss Army knife, that's what they said, then that's fine because that's a tool. And I'm like,
you got to get them to understand it is a tool.
But they're confused on, I literally had a panel be asked this in front of me. And it's like, they're confused on what makes a knife a tool and not a tool. And the only thing, this is it right here. The only thing that can make a knife a tool or not a tool is the person who's using it. It does not matter about the knife. It's so stupid. It has nothing. It has to do with the person. And that's anything. I could turn this pen into a weapon right now.
Just like Joe Pesci.
But you would turn anything into a weapon at
just
that
like
point.
Joe Pesci.
Anything would be a weapon. If you're going to turn your pocket knife into a weapon, you can turn anything into a weapon at that point. So it is a person. You're right.
Yeah,
the irony of all of this is that conversation was happening in Chicago, which happens to have a huge problem with illegal gun murders. You know, maybe if everyone was kitted up a little bit or allowed to defend themselves in Chicago, that wouldn't have been such a huge issue. It's bizarre to me. You know,
like we have like the highest homicide rate right now.
We have for a while.
I think it's like 2 murders a day or something. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you could walk around with a hammer or a monkey wrench, and people would think nothing of it. But you walk around with a little pocket knife; it's a huge deal. Jim, can you put up those last couple of comments?
People drive
dumb as hell regarding the auto thing. I carry my K-bar on my hip in San Diego, but a 2-inch auto would be illegal. You carry your K-bar on your hip in San Diego. That's cool. Man,
yes,
all right. What movie is this from? Man, they're way ahead out there in California. Anyone know? Someone has to tell me, except for my brother, who I'm sure is sleeping right now. But if anyone knows where that line comes, man, they're way ahead out there in California. Let me know, and I'll let you know by the end of the.
What year movie? What kind of year?
People are the real weapons. Agreed. What's that?
What year is it from? 90s?
Negative, sir. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, well, I can't think of it.
This is going to make me mad. I hate not knowing something like that.
Well, I'll tell you. Maybe you haven't seen the movie, but maybe you have. I'm considerably older than the two of you, I'm assuming. Hey, Skywarp, nice to see you, sir, with the 17 going on 18 hinderers. By the way, that we were talking about his hinderer knives on Saturday, Skywarp, and I mentioned the No Choil DLT Exclusive Warncliffe that came out. Well, wouldn't you know, somehow one of those got ordered for me, and it's going to be coming here. So I'm going to have to sell some knives. How did that happen? Thank you, Andrew. Oh, my God.
Yeah, he got it.
Just like that. Wow. Nicely done, sir. Nicely done.
Yes, I've definitely seen that.
Such a great movie.
Yes,
that's so funny.
You're getting the hinderer. You're getting is the choil-less one, right?
Yes, it is, and I'm getting it in the much maligned, but I love it. JG10 translucent JG10.
Oh, you gonna dye it or leave it?
I'm gonna leave it. I love that, but if someday down the road I get sick of it, I can dye it. But I have some extra scales because I've had a few XMs that have come through my hand. Thank you, Charles, taxi driver. Okay, all right. I guess I'm not. I guess there are a couple of. I guess that's not such a crazy movie quote, but thank you.
What kind of scales do you have?
I have let's see, I have a olive. No. Let's see, I have a forest green. I'm thinking of what's in my case. I have a forest green and a gray, and then I had a scale made. I have one 3.5-inch XM-18, and I had a gentleman from RC Blade Works. His name is can't remember his name, but he made me a beautiful scale for that out of that Python micarta, which I'm a sucker for.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
I like micarta a lot.
Me too. That's my favorite.
Matthew says it goes to show they can choose a jury to be in their favor. Yeah, that's right. They get some pearl clutchers, and then if you look on YouTube, there was an interesting suite of videos a couple of years ago put out by, I think, the guy who did the Ultimate Knife website, and the Ultimate Knife is a karambit website, and they had Fox take the 579 and turn it into the 599, which fits normal human hands. The 579 is built for like an ape, and apparently it was due to like some problems with translation from centimeters to inches, and they made like some gigantic. So anyway, this website, they had some videos a couple of years back, and you can find them on YouTube, where a young man was attacked after a frat party. Some big football dude or something was attacked him, started banging his head against. So he pulled out his karambit and sliced the guy's leg or something, and then just went through just hell. Legal hell afterward. So it is an interesting and somewhat sobering thing to see. But you know what, man, if you feel it, this guy was like a gorilla. I thought I was gonna die, so I cut his legs. You know,
do what you gotta do.
Yeah, who among us wouldn't do that if they thought it would save?
For sure, definitely.
All right, so I think we're winding up, but before we finish, I want to do a knife fight. You know, knife fight, right? It's our debate.
Yes, I do.
It's a debate, and let's see what is our topic. I'm always
budget knives versus having a whole bunch of budget knives versus having one nice high-end knife. Or
yes, but
who do you want to be? Who do you want to be?
I want to be a bunch of budget knives. I want to be a bunch of budget knives.
Okay, you be a bunch of budget knives. Go. You start.
Okay. All right. Thank you for inviting me to this valuable forum to talk about this important topic.
You're very welcome. I've been waiting for this.
So it's clear that knife collecting is a habit. It is something that can get away from you if you are someone who appreciates not only the usefulness and the tool of a knife, but the design and the experience of owning and appreciating a knife. So that being said, for the true knife junkie, which obviously I consider myself, the answer to the collecting question is clearly get as many cool, high-value knives as possible in your collection, because that way you can sample the broadest selection of designers out there and manufacturers out there. You can get a CRKT for $20 that's designed by a $1,200 custom knife maker. So for that reason, I say that it is way better to collect a bunch of budget knives, because you get to experience more and know more of what you're talking about.
Bob.
Can I say something?
Yeah,
sure.
I give the opening argument for our side. Okay. Yeah, it's 2 against 1, Bob. You're going down.
Going down.
All right,
anyway, what I was gonna say is, you're talking from the standpoint of the knife junkie. I'm talking from the standpoint of the knife user.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm not worried about the designs and the this and that. I want the one good knife that's going to take me through my job every single day. And the thing is that I've used CRKTs and I've used these brands that you speak of. Some are fine. Don't get me wrong. It's just that a lot of times I find myself replacing those knives from the standpoint of the heavy use. Okay. However, even if you take it beyond just the use, the aesthetics of a one high-end, strong, long-lasting knife is fantastic. Like I love a good-looking knife, which I can still have in that one perfect knife that I use and I love and I cherish. And not only that, but those companies also are the ones that typically have warranties. So I'm going to ride that knife as long as I can.
And also, nobody ever gave a CRKT as an heirloom to their kid or grandkid.
No, they
you
didn't.
can't pass one of those down. You can use a good knife that has a warranty forever. Forever, you have a warranty. Well, with a good brand. And you can pass it down, and then the next generation can enjoy it and know that that's the knife you worked hard with and enjoyed.
Okay. All right. I have two things I have to come back with you at, and then you can rebut if you want. But those two things are A, and you don't need to answer these. What happens if you lose that one perfect knife? And B, so what happens to my CRKTs when I die? Do they just dissolve into thin air?
Yes, they do. They
do. So they're not heirloom.
On the edge of the box, you can see it dissolves when you die.
See, I thought all that plastic was going to outlast me by like thousands of years. No, I'm just kidding. I love
it. Wouldn't make it
though.
to your death anyways, Bob. It would break.
It's going to die before you. I want my knife to outlive me, not me outlive the knife. Do you know what I mean?
Agreed. And with all the hard use I put on my knives, yeah, man, they don't have a chance. So who won?
And then, let me ask you one more question.
Yeah.
If I sent you to Ace Hardware or whatever hardware store, Menards or whatever, would you want to get a whole bunch of, I don't know, those little tack hitting hammers,
Coast cutlery,
some brand you've never seen, or one good Milwaukee?
Well, I mean, okay, since you put it that way, I would rather have the one Milwaukee.
Yeah,
however, I don't have a thing for drills. I have a thing for knives.
Hammers are tools too, Bob.
I do like hammers though. Ridiculous as that sounds, I do stock the hammer section in Home Depot. JJ says, easy answer, collect. Yes, exactly. Collect and use both at your discretion. In 1 week. Thank you, Matthew. Agreed, sir. I agree. Good choice. In 1 week, I got this and a Civivi, and it's not because I'm some high roller and I'm buying all these knives. I just so happen to be able to get this at a price I could handle, and I really wanted to try a Civivi. And
Civivis are amazing. They're probably the best budget knife out there right now.
Yeah,
and you can't get other knives for that price of that quality. There's only one other brand that I know of that can get really good quality like that. And that's Tucson. But
okay, so next time we talk, we're gonna have to talk about Tucson. I've had so many people ask me. You and I have had a conversation about Tucson. Never held or hefted one, never experienced one, and I really haven't. I can send it some. All right, so if you're we can do this offline, but let's do some sort of we'll call it something cool, like a what do you call it? We'll call it like an ambassador swap. It's like I'll send you, like we're two nations, and I'll send you a knife to check out. You send me a knife to check out, and so that we don't, mutually nuke each other. We'll have hostages from one another, and whatever that's called. Or it could be friendlier than that. I have no plans to lob a nuke your way, by the way. All right. So obviously it's late, and we had a really good pizza tonight, and I can't have pizza or any Italian food without wine. I drank quite a bit tonight of wine. It was nice Chianti. So I'm a little bit talkative and a little bit tired. So
awesome.
I'm thinking maybe this is where we pull into the station, guys. What do you think?
All right, Bob.
Sounds good.
So we only heard from one person about who won, and they said I won, and I agree. No, I'm just kidding.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
You didn't? Wait, Jim, bring that up. It was Matthew Lee.
See,
look at this. Spirited whiskey. The real answer is how a bunch of high-end. Yes, that's right. Why? Right, Bob. Matthew Lee. Bob. See, but Spirited whiskey brings up an interesting point. Okay. Why not just have a whole bunch of really expensive knives? If the last few weeks haven't proved anything, no, I'm just kidding. 1 knife or 10, I'd say 5. Or 3 to 5 would be my answer. Anyway,
so who wins? You won.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Actually, and I'm not saying this to be a sycophant to the guests, but I have to say, Kara, you give a good argument. That was a good. Neves won. I kind of think your argument was better. So, well, I don't know.
Yeah, look, now, the comments are rolling in. The people are speaking, Bob. Kara killed it.
Kara killed. Okay. All right,
you have to go with the popular vote
right now.
You know, we should have defined the price thing on that. Like, what defined the budget knife versus what defined.
I had a couple questions, but I just rolled with it. So that's what you got to do. You got to roll with punches.
Great show, everyone. #draw. Justin, the diplomat. I love it. Thank you. Well, that about does it for this edition of Thursday Night Knives. Kara, Jared of Neves Knives, thank you very much for showing up. I really appreciate it. Well, Jared, you've been with us the whole night, and Kara, what a lovely pleasure that you showed up. Bob's over there, Scrooge McDucking. What did someone just call me? Scrooge McDucking in a swimming pool full of Medfords. No, it's a very small swimming pool, sir. Yes. Let them use their civivis. I will be over here with my Medford. Listen, Neves all day. Well, you know, hey, what can I say? It's 2 against 1, and they nailed it.
You had no chance, Bob. Thanks for having us, Bob.
Oh, my pleasure. I want to thank both you guys for coming on. And if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe and send this around if you think it was any fun or interesting. Good night, Lindy. Thanks for dropping in. Pleasure having you. So for Jared and Kara Neves and Jim behind the switcher, I'm Bob the Knife Junkie DeMarco saying, don't take dull for an answer.